welcome to the Tesla Life. What are we sitting at today? June the 12th, episode 103. We're in the hundreds, guys. We've made it.
Whoa.
And we're still there. We're not backing up. We're still there. We're still there.
It's crazy.
What was that, Casey?
The update's finished now.
Okay.
What?
We were all hand on
As
pins
soon
and
as you
needles
hit go
waiting,
live,
waiting for the update. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Did it fix your brakes?
No, he got a new front bumper. But we'll talk about that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Russell Frost in San Diego. How are you today, sir?
Greetings from the bottom left corner of America, kids, where it is, as my friend Patrick Connor would like to say, a beautiful 81 degrees and 41% humidity. And there's a breeze coming off the ocean about 8 miles away from my house.
Unfortunately, the breeze is bringing in the dump that's just over the hill.
Unfortunately, there is something burning outside, and I keep getting this smell of holy shit, something's on fire.
That's California on fire.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's always something on fire in California.
You know, interestingly enough, it hasn't rained in a couple of weeks, and I was noticing today driving on the freeway, hey, everything's brown again. Because everything was green before, and now
everything's getting ready for the burn
tender.
off.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Also with us tonight from Middle America, Chicago area, Mr. Tony Schaefer. How are you today, sir?
Hey, everybody. I am really good. Cubs won. That's the only sports news you need to know for today, June the 12th, 2019.
So there's nothing else going on today?
No other games, other sports news whatsoever.
Nothing in hockey, nothing.
Is that even I don't even... now that you bring it up, it pains me to root for Boston.
Ooh, wow.
Ah, man. Game 7 tonight, folks. A little bit later on, I believe, or it starts at 8. So that won't affect this show.
Is there still Canada versus USA basketball going on?
There is. Yeah, we're going to Game 6 in Golden State.
You guys better watch it, or Trump's going to invade you.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Yeah. That's exactly what we're looking at.
See, I never know who wins those games because the Canadians score in metric, and I just don't know the conversion.
You got to look at your beer can. It tells you the conversion there.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Also, last but not least, certainly not least, Mr. Casey Green in South Carolina. How are you today, sir?
No. Am I frozen?
You're moving.
Perfect time.
Can you hear us?
Casey.
Now you're frozen.
There we are. You're back.
Okay. All right. You seem to be jumping around a little bit. You're a little bit pixelated. So if you run into great amount of problems, you could always disconnect and connect again. But right now you're working fine.
Somebody probably ran into a pole. South Carolinians, particularly in Charleston, they can't drive in the rain. So the vehicle has updated itself to 2019.20.1.
2019.20.1. Your Model X has been updated.
And I know nothing about it because it just finished right when we hit go. So I'll find out more later.
All right. So Casey will be running out between the takes, catching a look at the screen to see what's going on. But well, let's get on with the show. There's a ton of news as normal in the Tesla world. But in order to start, why don't we just do this right up front? Because we're going to be doing it a few times during the show. If you've connected to the show, give us a click on the thumbs up right now, because you know it's going to be a great show. So you may as well give us a thumbs up now. Help us out with a thumbs up. And of course, if this is your first time watching, please press the subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll be notified about future shows when we go to air. So great little service. It's all free. Please help us out. First story of the evening, Model S and X refresh rumors came out earlier in the week. And this article came from Teslarati, where they had discussed a few different details that someone had leaked. And we all know there's no leaks at Tesla. We've never heard about a leak.
Elon took care of that.
Yeah, that's all locked down tight. So I don't know where this is coming from, but we've had a few reports about a Model S and X refresh. Here's the interesting stuff. is they're saying that range would go up somewhere over 400 miles, north of 400 miles. And the really interesting one is that there's a design in play that they're saying there could be up to 3 motors in a car, as opposed to 2 or 1, depending. Actually, it's just 2 now. So the possibility of having 2 rear-wheel drive motors and a single front motor has been identified in this particular leak. Not sure if how valid this is. We have heard leaks before that certainly have not come true, because of course in the design stage, when many people are talking about what could possibly come, there are different groups that will are only let into certain parts of the information, and they go with that, and they're not really understanding the whole picture. But I think it would be interesting to have a 3 motors, certainly in the S and the X, luxury cars, faster cars, flagship cars. I don't know. Sounds plausible, but we're going to have to wait and see. And we really don't know when a refresh is. Obviously, the S certainly is growing along in the tooth. The X is newer, but there is some rumblings that the S does need that refresh sooner than later.
I would like to think that if they make any exterior changes to the S, that it's just minimally cosmetic. One of the things that make the Tesla vehicle so just gorgeous is the simplicity in the design. I would hate to see Tesla go down the over angular, that whole thing. That's all I'm saying. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, keep that classic design that has put them apart from others to this point. So absolutely.
You know what I think of when I hear news like this?
No. What?
Bunny rabbits?
Thank you for responding. I thought maybe nobody could hear.
We thought if we waited long enough, you would
I just forget it. I didn't remember what I was going to say, actually.
When you hear news like this.
So in defense of Tesla, because they obviously don't want to get caught up in the Osborne effect, right?
Yep.
They're not gonna leak something like this because, but if they want to potentially get people more excited and stay in the news and all of that, they're gonna leak something like this, right?
Maybe.
So that's a bit of a double-edged sword then. It could hurt them, it may help them.
I mean, this is sort of that brave new ground that you're blazing when you're an innovator and you don't have a regular iteration schedule, when things just kind of happen, right? They know that if they announce changes, and then everybody's going to be on hold. And then when they see the changes, they're either going to buy up the old ones because they like them better, or they're going to wait for the new ones. And those old ones are going to be, well, robo-taxis next year, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all I got.
But it would be interesting to see if, like you said, they don't want to hurt themselves by announcing it too early and having some sort of pause that goes on, that people stop buying cars as they wait for something. So I would think the way that they could help themselves is basically have everything ready to go, the machine tooling ready to switch, and as soon as they announce it, the cars are in production.
I think that that whatever they're going to do is done, but it's also very bad business to go about it right now. They're not really in a need for this refresh yet. I mean, yeah, it is a little long in the tooth, but like Tony said, they can get by with more minor tweaks, like maybe finally adding door pockets to the Model S. And software, and then when they do see sustained drop in sales, then they can go ahead and drop the whatever they've already got on the drawing boards into production.
And you're not seeing a drop in orders?
Well, there was for Q1, but they also claimed that it was restructuring of the line. So, like I said, sustained drop in production.
So how much would be sustained, Casey? 2 or 3 quarters?
Probably 2 quarters, and then Elon doesn't seem to be the type who wait around for
the third quarter to drop.
Well, not just the third quarter, but just he seems a little more snappy than that. So I expect that the longest we'd wait is 2 quarters. of sustained lower demand.
Well, we will be able to tell that shortly. In fact, in just a few weeks.
That's right.
Because the end of the quarter is
Well-
the end of June.
Now, what does seem plausible out of all of that, other than I don't know why they brought back out that same render, fan render. It's not the right style, but the 400 miles, I think that's going to happen sooner than later, especially since Elon reiterated that at the investor day. The shareholders meeting, and I figured that might happen with the existing platform. Just some more tweaks to the motors and such, and then whenever they get a chance to actually integrate some of the stuff they've picked up from Maxwell.
I think my guess will be they're not going to get to the 400 till they switch to the 2170 CAN.
He keeps hanging on.
He does keep talking about 400 though. You're absolutely
well,
correct.
with the 400, yeah, but he keeps also saying that it's just a shell. I think that the 2170 would make it easier because there'll be less metal inside the battery. But if he thinks he can do it with the 18650s, he's the one with the battery factory, not me.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Why do you not have a battery factory?
I don't need a battery factory.
That's
I don't build
Tony's
cars.
got two.
Yeah,
Tony's got two.
well, I wouldn't. They're not really. They're not gigafactories. They're more like kilo or maybe bit factories.
Bit factories, yes. Yeah. Mine's a AA.
right, yeah.
And just one. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The 3-motor thing, he said he's going to put it on the Roadster. I don't see it coming up on the Model S. Not if they do either an overhaul or a refresh. They'd have to do a clean slate to make that work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely, you're not just going to slip another motor in for sure.
Yeah, and with the talks they've been having about how they need to be frugal and how stressed they are with getting the existing products out and engineered correctly, and then the stuff they've already announced, I think that to do a clean slate would put them back in Model 3 hell again, and I don't see them
Purposely doing that to themselves.
Well, I do see them doing that, but I don't see them doing it while trying to spin up Model Y, trying to get semi-ready, and then whenever they decide they want to actually make Roadster.
But using that reasoning as well, that you're pushing out a Model S refresh for quite some time. Like you're talking over a year.
It may land with the pickup truck. But I mean, there is a chance. Like I said, if it's just a overhaul and not a clean slate, that it could show up like these rumors are saying later this year. But it would have to be like a sales wasteland for them.
Right.
Like you said, why Osborne yourself, and why kill the golden goose? I mean,
Are you still talking about that? My God,
Yes.
let it go, guys.
Well, we will let it go. We're going to move on to associated topic, sales.
Oh no.
Record quarter is possible. Elon has stated recently, a couple times now, that but what I found interesting was this article from Electric, where they were talking about the number of deliveries that have happened in the current quarter we're in, quarter two, and up to the point of this article, there was 33,000 deliveries to that point. And with just 4 weeks and a couple days left in the quarter, they've indicated that they believe another 33,000 deliveries to happen just in June. So we've talked about this before on the show about how Tesla seems to push everything to the end of the quarter for deliveries. And there is a massive influx of cars being delivered within the last 4 weeks of any given quarter. And again, this quarter two of 2019 is no different. It seems to be ramping up to be doing that, which is, again, we talk about it. Why can't they start ramping up quarter one or week one of the next quarter, week two? But no, it's this huge push. And it's certainly, some of it has to do with transportation now to Europe and Asia, where there's that long boat ride to get them there currently. But it's amazing that here we are in crunch time again, and these employees that work at the different locations, there's going to be no sleep. Like again, it's a full court press for these people for the next 4 weeks.
Allegedly.
According to history, it's been a full court press every end of quarter.
That is true. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. So this quarter looks to be no different based on the factors that are being thrown out here and there about another record quarter coming up. They believe they do have a shot at this of topping all quarters in this quarter 2. So again, we've got a few weeks more to find out. But that is the news that has been fit to print so far on this.
It does beg the question, in my opinion, that you brought up. Why do they wait until the third month of the quarter? That just, are they concerned about sustained speed?
It would catch you off guard a few times, Tony, right? A few times. But
yeah,
every single quarter this is going on. And it's like, it's almost like people have amnesia as to when the end of the quarter is.
Yeah.
I've forgotten there's only 12 weeks in a quarter. But it is something that happens time and time again to them.
Some of them get paid to pretend to forget, particularly those that are participating in the smear campaign.
That's what I was just going to say.
Wait, you mean the people who set up the speed of the manufacturing, the manufacturing line, and the people who actually perform the deliveries?
No,
those slowing them down on purpose.
Those people already said that they would smooth them out, but apparently it takes more than 1 quarter to smooth them out, and I was chastised for suggesting that they could be done already after bringing it up like that. So,
I just want to know if Mark's a hater. Are you? Is Big Oil paying you, Mark?
Yeah, so that's.
I have no comment.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Now we know.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Mark Coughlin, brought to you by Canadian Tar Sands.
Yeah. You're in cahoots with that Sudbury mine, aren't you?
Yep, the big nickel. Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Yes, indeed.
See, and they clear cut it just so it wouldn't be called the big wooden nickel. Anyway, thank you.
He's here all week, folks.
Oh my God!
But okay, so
get out of here.
I don't know.
Show titles, people. Keep an
titles,
eye on those show
nickel.
titles. Yes,
Dumpster
indeed.
fire. I think it's the show title.
Okay, I do want to get back to, and I don't know, Casey, I don't know if I want to poke this bear, but how are you insinuating that the haters are slowing down the line?
No, I'm not saying they're slowing down the line. I'm saying that the news that constantly comes out, the news that, oh my goodness, it's the end of the quarter. They haven't sold anything, and then when they do the crush, oh my goodness, they look at that, it's fire sale, blah blah blah.
Okay,
yeah, well,
but
there's
slowing
that
down the line,
negative narrative, definitely.
Regardless of how it's being reported, if they're pumping out an exorbitant number of cars in the last month compared to the first 2, and they've done this quarter after quarter after quarter,
right?
Regardless of how it's reported, that's the facts. That's what they've done quarter after quarter after quarter.
See, the sales don't get reported in Europe and everywhere until they land. So, yeah, they might have a little extra push to get the U.S. cars out in time for the end of the quarter, but I mean,
Nice.
So say they're running
keep
at
shoveling, man. Keep shoveling.
Say let's use the example. Say they're doing 5,000 a week, right? And they're getting them on the boats, get them to China, get them to Europe, wherever, and then
then
oh, he froze.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. So I'll finish the sentence for him. And then finally, the cars that they shipped in the previous quarter get credited as a delivery. Yeah. You froze there, so we missed some of what you said.
So they bump it a little bit, and they get another push at the end of the quarter for the U.S. cars. So they say that using fake numbers, 5,000. Say they crank it up to 6,000. It's their formulas. They've been doing it this way since forever. Right.
And then maybe that is baked into how they operate. But it just seems funny, is what I'm saying. Is that I think it would be a whole lot easier on everybody if they could smooth it out a little bit more.
And that's what
Stop
Elon said.
being a hater.
And that's what Elon said during the last quarterly call, is they would try to make it less lumpy.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen any evidence that that's happened yet. And I was slapped on the wrist for suggesting that they could have done anything already. But
And again, this is a repetition.
mhm. Well, I didn't expect it to be miraculous change overnight. I did expect to see a little more smoothness.
Years, yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, years is probably accurate, but I'm hoping that the next quarter, not the one that's ending now, but the next quarter, we see some effects of the smoothing.
So the first few months should be higher than they have been,
Mm-hmm.
and the first couple months, and then the third month should be lower than it is.
That would be a smoothing. Yes.
That would be a smoothing.
Yeah.
But they could just keep it up, and they don't need to slow it down.
And then that would
That's
mean
what I'm saying.
then that would be, but that would be record sales, is what that would be.
Yeah, or take a week or two and say, okay, everyone catch your breath, because when we come back, you know,
I can just see the first day of the next quarter. It's like I see a bunch of collapsed people laying over machines and panting heavily and trying to catch their breath. Like it just, that's what I see. But anyways, let's move on to another area where they will be following this at some point, the same rules. In China, the government has updated some regulation on EVs. Because of course, China is fighting air pollution. They're trying to, as our stories last week on What Drives us talked about, there are entire cities that are being devoted to EV manufacturing. And they're pushing this stuff out in large fashion, trying to get more EVs on the road quickly as possible. One of the other things that they've opened up recently is that, and I don't know if you know this, but in China, you don't automatically get a license plate even if you bought a car. You have to enter into the license plate lottery, where they pull names and assign only a certain amount of license plates, even if you bought a car, and award them to certain people based on who wins the lottery. But what they've done now recently is they've changed the rules of this lottery, that if you buy an EV, everyone gets a plate immediately. So this is another demand lever they've pulled that will require people to double think if they're getting a gas car, that, oh, I may not be able to get it for a while, but if I do get an EV, I get a plate immediately and don't have to enter into the lottery. So another way of pushing people in a certain direction. And of course, this is going to benefit Tesla as well as other EV manufacturers in China, because of course, people will get to the front of the line to get themselves a plate and can drive their car off of the lot immediately. So interesting that this is one of the demand levers that the government is pushing in China.
Mm-hmm. It's like we've said several times in the past that China is one of those countries that when they put their effort behind something, they do it.
Yep,
Indeed.
Exactly.
So do you have to buy the car first, or is it just that these people are so excited that they're buying their car first?
I think they have the option of buying any car you want.
Well, I mean, can you get your license, like win the lottery, and then buy your car, or do you have to have a car on first?
That's a good question. I'm not sure what the what that would be as to whether or not you have to do it in a certain direction or a certain order. First.
That would suck if you bought a Model 3 Performance and then you couldn't drive it.
That would definitely suck.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's maybe this is a telling sentence in the Teslarati article. It says, Beijing, for example, generally required prospective car buyers to get license plate numbers through a lottery. Now, I'm reading this and I'm emphasizing the word prospective car buyers.
Okay.
So it's possible that they get the lottery, and then after they get their plate, they go buy their car. It would be very, very awkward to buy a car and not be able to drive it for many
just
years.
Hope that you win the lottery. Yes. Yeah.
But
and
it's
then
also probably
you lose. You got to garage the car for a year and wait till next year.
Yeah.
That would be. Yeah.
It probably also was hard to do the juggling with the getting it shipped in time if you were the prospective buyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
probably a number of people negating on financing too.
Yeah.
Saying I'm not doing that. Last week we talked a little bit about the cars in Japan, the Model 3 being slimmed down so it could take in the automation of automated parking spaces. And I just wanted to show there was an article in Tesla Roddy a few days later talking about one of these particular parking spaces, and it was interesting that the car is loaded sideways. I just thought I'd show the photo here of it being slid into a compartment, which was then an elevator. It would raise it out of the way and push it into a parking spot. But and obviously, since the car is slid in sideways, obviously the wheels are on something that would allow it to float over to that area and then be pushed into another docking area for final parking.
So the sideways isn't typical. Typically, you'll park on a sled or on the wheel carriers, like we saw in the Volkswagen Candy Factory. But,
Right.
I think one of the comments on this article has the inner workings of one of these, the typical ones where you drive on and not sideways. I think it was either in the bottom of the article or one of the first comments.
Hey, just to drop in here for a second, there's some idiot in the chat room named Patrick C.
Oh,
He says you cannot buy the car in China until you approve, according to a friend of his in Beijing. I just wanted to pass that along.
cool.
Very good.
He's a shorter. I'm pretty sure. So we have, you guys probably haven't seen this. I mean, we have something very similar in the U.S.
Here we go.
Like this. This is how they park your car in the U.S.
Yeah.
After you get caught street racing, that's how they park your car in the parking machine.
Now, coincidentally, it doesn't matter what size your car is when it pulls into this one.
I'm pretty sure that. I think that one loaded sideways.
And if you're a couple inches over, no problem.
Yeah, no worries.
No
We'll take care of
problem.
it.
Next story. We all heard that when the Model 3 standard range version was announced, Tesla was anti-selling the car. They tried everything possible to make it so that the person that's considering the standard range base car would not buy it. They would move up to the SR Plus, get some of the extra options, pay a few $1,000s more, and help Tesla with its profit margin on the car. What some people found out is that even if they stuck to their guns and said that, yes, we want the standard range, we're not moving to the Plus, we're not paying a penny more, and they got the standard range, a number of people, of course, were surprised that they received really the standard range Plus. They had maybe less battery, but the seats were still imitation leather. The console was still in place. The car software was still the same. They had maps. They had the ability to switch from satellite to maps. And the things that were X'd out for the standard range all seemed to be in place for these people getting these cars. What has happened this week is that Tesla has sat down some programmers and started to re-engineer what the standard range model is. And those people that bought standard range cars, their software is updating and reverting them back to what Tesla said it would contain, and that only.
Okay, can I tell you what's happening right now?
Yep.
Right now, there is someone who bought the standard range, got all the bells and whistles, told no one, and is now trying to find the person who notified Tesla that they got more than they paid for.
Yes.
And they're probably waiting for their firearm card.
Yeah, don't go for it, Russell. Don't go for it.
Somewhere there's a group of Tesla owners. They're yelling, "Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!"
And meanwhile, these guys are making videos about it and posting them on YouTube.
News postings.
Because I know Tesla can't reach out over the air and change it. God! How stupid
Yep.
do you have to be?
So the next question is it a forced update, or can you just put it off? And
Oh, I'm willing to bet that if you
There are many people right now, Casey, that are getting all the Reynolds wrap they can and are putting it all across the top of their car. Right now, that's what's going on.
yeah,
I rushed down to Dollar General, and Reynolds wrap is sold out because they're just wrapping their car to prevent that over the update from showing up.
because they have forced updates in the past, but generally you have to elect to push them.
Hey, I'm willing to bet that if you don't get this one, you don't get any more for the rest of your life. Like
Yes.
the rest is a log jam until you get this one.
Exactly.
You put it off so long that you have to go to service to get your update. They have to plug in.
Right. And they're like, oh, hey.
Got you now. Yes, indeed.
Oh,
Indeed.
you said you had a squeak. You know what to fix that squeak, right?
Yeah, exactly. We need to do an update.
You know how much that update costs?
And while you're here, I have some replacement seats for you.
There you
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to change the hardware. I think they're just going to turn stuff
go. Yeah,
off.
it's like no one knows.
Like with the Model X.
You don't think.
Going up in the middle of the night
With the
and
Model-
swapping out your console.
With the Model X, if you didn't get the premium pack when it was not standard, you would get the lights in the door, and they would not be plugged in.
Right.
And then if you plug them in, the software would turn them
The
off.
software turned them off. Yes.
No.
Yeah. They had you double fixed. It was not going to work.
Awesome.
Cut to a Model 3 standard range parked outside of a house. The people in the house hear this drill noise. Walk outside. There's May Musk with a Makita. Bastards are going to pay my kid.
Yes, he's stealing from my son.
Yeah, I'm taking this back to my house. It's going to sit in my living room.
And you know you can't stop them. It's not like you can lock the door. They'll just unlock it for you.
May has a key to every Tesla.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Ready to go.
She's the
Like on
contingency
that
plan.
on his iPhone. The one, and then he's in.
Yep.
Another story out of China is Tesla starting to immerse itself in the Chinese holidays and culture. And what happened recently is that people that are signed up to the Tesla, I guess the email list, they got some notification about Happy Dragon Boat Festival, which is a festival in China. It's rather large in Chinese culture. And as you can see, Tesla is putting their own little spin on it, trying to appear as more of a Chinese company that has Chinese concern, Chinese customers, and they're just trying to make them their way into the culture of China. So kind of interesting to see. We haven't seen that. Tesla's been in China for some time, but this is just an escalation of that. So they're just diving in a little bit deeper and reaching out to customers of that nationality.
Well, that's really what you want to see is if somebody comes to your country, you want to see them integrate. So
Yeah, you don't want them, waving an American flag in China. It certainly is and of course with the Gigafactory, that's a huge investment in not only capital but also employees, and certainly it is the right way to be doing it. I would definitely think so.
Yeah. So
interesting to see as that will move forward. What other things they will be connected with over time. Another story hot off the press was that version 3 supercharger in Fremont has been announced that it's now available for public use. As you remember, when the first V3 supercharger was released, it was invitation only. You could only go there, and it wasn't beside the current superchargers. It was in a separate area, and someone would check that you had an invite to use it. But that has now gone away, and anyone that's in the Fremont area or traveling through the Fremont area, they have the capability of trying out the V3 supercharger themselves. And certainly if you're in a Model 3, it's going to work a lot better because, of course, it is optimized for the Model 3 battery packs, and it is something that allows them to charge just a bit faster. But again, it's a good sign. There are currently 2, one in Fremont, one in Hawthorne, and there was a discussion about one in Texas being built. And of course, Elon has also mentioned that priority for the V3s are certainly going to be on long distance routes. So there's a number of different ones. We talked about the Canadian run, which of course Elon mentioned again during the shareholder meeting, where there's a line following along the Trans-Canada Highway, and there's a number of people, of course, hoping that those will be V3s, and that was part of the reason for the slow install on them. The permitting just left in a permitting stage, didn't get to construction. We're hoping to see that those V3s are being installed across Northern Ontario and the Prairie provinces, but that remains to be seen. We'll have to watch and see as they start coming online with construction.
So you're saying that previously you needed an invitation to use the V3 superchargers?
You didn't need an actual invitation. You needed the early access software.
Oh, okay.
And,
so it wasn't like Google Plus where you...
It was very much like Google Plus. If
Okay.
you didn't get that email and say yes, then your card didn't work.
So it was, all right, well, there you
So
go.
it was an invitation email, but you're right. There was a software upgrade to the system of the car that needed to happen.
Yeah, it wasn't like the battery swap where you had to have an appointment. You just had to have a car that had managed to get the update.
And I believe if you had gone there, even with the Model 3 that did not have that update, I'm not even sure if you would charge at all.
It wouldn't work. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear that from anybody, but I would assume that would be the way they would program it.
Yep.
All right.
We're up to 10 likes.
Wow. Well, that is it. Here we are, 39 minutes in the show. So if you haven't clicked the like already, 10 of your friends have done it. Go ahead and push us up over 20. Click that like. If you haven't subscribed yet, get the subscribe button, ring the bell, be notified, help us out. We would really appreciate the numbers.
You know,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm not too concerned right now with the relatively low-ish number of likes, because I think the first 2 20-minute segments are pretty slow, but then there's always a push at the end of the hour. I'm pretty sure we'll get to 33,000 by the end of the hour.
You're thinking that, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
How long before we're actually holding live chickens and threatening to bite their heads off?
Oh, wow.
If people don't. How long before that happens? Are we just on the? Because I feel like we're right there.
I don't think we're quite there yet.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
I don't think that that's quite where we're at.
I have no desire to bite the head off a chicken.
Save a chicken.
Save
a chicken. Click the like button.
Here we go.
There you go.
Might be a show title. Save a chicken.
David, we're not getting to that topic. Can't you just already see that? It's not going to come, David. Sorry.
All right.
Oh man.
So I've got just as a heads up for everyone in the chat. Here's where the bar is set. You need to top these 5 show titles.
Ooh.
So far, we have Big Wooden Nickel.
Is that you submitting that, Tony?
Well, there were a few in there. There were a couple.
Tony's the coolest guy on the show.
That was number 2. Now in reference to wrapping the Tesla, there was tinfoil Tesla, over-the-air seat downgrade.
There we go.
So these last 2 I wrote down: Google Plus supercharging and Save a Chicken Like the Show.
Well, don't put the word "like" in the title. But yeah, I like that. Also, there was the over-the-air bumper upgrade at the very beginning of the show.
They're right. That's right. Casey's over-the-air bumper update.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Dun, dun, dun.
Want to share a little chart with you guys? They're looking at put this chart together across 2018 and of course into May of 2019. Can anyone guess what the red line is?
My guess is a Tesla.
Some stinking hot bullshit.
Oh,
Did I say that out loud?
I think you did. Yes.
Inner narrative.
Yeah.
Inner narrative. I'm sorry.
This is a listing of a number of sedans available in the market. Obviously, Tesla in red, Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Lexus, and Jaguar. And Tesla, of course, ramping up starting in June of 2018 was the beginning of the ramp, and got quite steep through August, September, October, and November, December of 2018. And leveled out a little bit, but still on quite an incline, pushing up to May of 2019. So fantastic numbers when you see it compared to competitor sedans in the segment. And it was interesting that these mid-size cars have really. But the other interesting thing is that everybody except for possibly the Jaguar seems to be in a bit of a climb across the board. So all of them have a little bit of up trajectory. Obviously not as great as the Model 3, but there has been gain in all of these particular models.
So I heard the statistic that they outsold all of Jag during their worst quarter ever.
Right, but yet, and of course, in this model
ever,
here,
the best first quarter they ever had.
Jag is the worst of the lot.
Well, they are, but it was just impressive that the sky was falling, and yet they were still outselling whole automakers, not just
right.
Similar sedans.
Yes,
yeah.
So it's amazing to see in chart form, but as we move along to the end of the quarter, we'll have more to add to this chart. Push it into.
Oh, I can't wait.
And how long do we have to wait, Russell?
Days.
Well, yeah, well into August, I'm going to say.
Yeah. I like how far delayed they are. It's like you forgot there was even a quarter, and then they're reporting on it.
Exactly. Well, here's another good news story. Kind of interesting.
I love those feel-good stories.
There was a protest recently at Tesla headquarters in Europe, and there was a bunch of Tesla owners that were protesting a price drop. And I don't know if they looks like they blocked maybe part of the headquarter entry area. But what was interesting is they're all smiling and quite happy to take a photo in front of Tesla headquarters. Russell, I don't know if you could grab that for me. And is that possible that you could find that? No? I know, I just threw you on the spot. I threw Russell under the bus.
What do you want? You want the picture?
Just the picture from the article.
Okay, yeah.
Because I just find
there you go. Thank
funny
you, Tony.
That this group of people who are protesting, they're really quite happy.
Just having a gay old time here. Yeah. Hey, woo.
Everyone's smiling. Thumbs up.
Our car is appreciated. Woo.
They're all wearing the same colored vests.
It's like the yellow.
But apparently it's orange in Europe. Mm-hmm. But
well, the green vest is in France, and this is elsewhere.
So Tesla headquarters in Europe is it Belgium? Something like that.
They need to suck it up. My car dropped over 20 grand since I bought it.
Have you protested it yet, Casey?
I have not. I've enjoyed my car, and the entire year I've had it while they were dropping the price. And I've still got ventilated seats. I don't have to consider what goes on when I go to Supercharger. I've got unlimited internet. I got my money's worth.
My car dropped in price too initially. It's back to about even at this point, but I was able to partake in a large credit that would not have been available to me if I had waited. So yes. I was quite happy to get on the payment train when I did.
Same. So actually, I only paid about 20 for my car. So if I complete the program correctly.
So I don't know. These kind of a mixed message showing in the photo. We'll see if anything else comes of it. But it basically was a short protest. It's not like they're there every day. It just happened in one afternoon. We'll see if anything goes further from that.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other manufacturers or any other products that the exact same product can be purchased as quickly as a day after you bought it at a substantial price drop?
Yeah, every other product in the world.
Well,
What?
lots of other products, yeah.
Nearly every other product in the world, yeah. So, like with automakers, I mean, like I could go in with Russell, and we could both come out with different prices if it wasn't a Tesla and it wasn't a Saturn or something from CarMax.
Yeah, because there's the ability to dicker on price.
Yeah.
But does the MSRP go down $20,000?
No, they'll put secret money on the hood and secret dealer rebate specials, and but at the same time, though, I could buy a consumer electronics item, and then the next day there could be a sale on it.
But it's not a sale. I mean, this isn't a sale. This
Or
was Tesla said, "Hey, everybody, guess what? We're lowering the
Yes.
prices."
So yeah, I could buy the consumer
But
electronics item, and then they could drop the MSRP after I buy it the next day. And
But they
in
haven't.
a sense, Tony, it may not have said it was a sale, but the price has fluctuated down and it's fluctuated back up too.
way up sometimes.
So it's I don't know. You're right. It's not a sale because it wasn't advertised as a sale,
Right.
but yet the MSRP has fluctuated up, down, and back up.
And Casey, you're saying that every manufacturer does this.
Oh, they don't all mess with the MSRP. Usually they do the secret money in the back, or they do an actual explicit sale. Come on down before the end of the month, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, we've all seen, I mean, every
dealerships.
month, every
Not
month,
just dealerships, but
Chevy
other
has a different friends and family thing.
Yeah.
But it's listed as a sale. All I'm saying, okay,
Well, like my Volt permanently
could
dropped
have-
in price after I bought it. That
they-
sucked.
they could have handled this differently. Rather
They
than
could have,
just-
but obviously they were trying for something.
Yeah.
They needed sales or they needed something
Right.
in order to do it at that particular point in time.
Mark might have also got bit by the Volt price drop. Like
Yep.
literally, the price permanently dropped after I bought my car.
Yeah.
It never went back up, but other than that, it's the same as this.
Right. Our last story of the evening talks about the big shareholders meeting that happened just yesterday in Mountain View, California, at the Computer Museum, I believe it was.
Yet again, I love it. when
So
they do
they've done that there before previously, last
Mhm.
year, as an example.
that. The year
but-
before.
But Casey, talk to us a little bit about that.
Give me 10 minutes to go into all of this.
Well,
So some highlights are he confirmed that the pickup truck is designed to compete with the F-150, despite it not looking traditional. They touched on that he feels that they'll be able to do 400 miles of charge very soon. Somebody touched on amphibious cars, and he reminded them that he owns the Bond Lotus.
yes, that was interesting, wasn't it? Somebody came up with the last question of the night and said, "Is Tesla working on any type of amphibious cars?" And I thought, who was this nut that
Yes.
came out of the...
I did not expect that answer.
and Elon says, "As a matter of fact, we do have plans." So caught me off guard.
Although he does then say, "I think the market for this will be small."
Yeah,
Yes, he does.
he did mention that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was another item they touched on? PETA came back again.
Yep, they did.
Nothing
complaining about
against
the
them. It's
leather
just
on the steering.
it's a point of note. The reason we do have these vegan leather. Am I frozen again?
Yes, you are.
We can still hear you. We just
But
can't
you have a nice smile.
There we go.
There you go.
I do have a nice smile. We can thank PETA for the vegan leather seats across the lineup, and they're pushing on the steering wheel. And Elon mentioned that they are working on that.
They said the problem was with heat.
Yes, heat and oils from your hands.
So heated steering wheel is a problem with vegan leather.
Why not just go back the way they used to be, the hard plastic and iron?
Nobody wants that, Tony.
That
Nobody
rubber floppy thing when the car gets old. No, thank you.
The Death Car 3000. Come on, why not just go back to that?
So the option now is if you're a vegan and you want a different steering wheel, they put in one from a 1979 Dodge Plymouth.
Right.
What's so wrong with that? You just simply get a car without it. I don't want leather in my car, so it's delivered without a steering wheel.
Well, no, they just don't wrap it in the leather, and so you get that weird rubbery thing underneath. Good luck keeping it clean.
Yeah, noted.
What else? Anything else?
There was a ton. He said that he's working on his car both the enhanced summon and the full self drive.
Because parking lots are hard.
They touched on StarLink. He told us and confirmed that that's really going to be a medium to low density product and not for the cities, and definitely not for the cars.
Yeah, that was interesting. Speculation on Starlink not really being an urban area use case.
Yes.
Antenna has to be about the size of a medium pizza. Not really going to fit well on a car.
I'm thinking there's all that room on the front.
Yeah, I guess that could be they could do it there, but
I guess as you turn around, it might block it. So
this is just kind of classic adjusting expectations.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So he's going to blow us out of the water?
I'm going to be shocked if they get 700 satellites up.
Oh, okay. Well, he said he's going for 5% of the market, and I see how he could get the money out of that, but we'll see. The first 60 went all right. What else? Somebody he says that somebody suggested that we become Tesla Lyft drivers instead of going straight for the robotaxis.
Right.
And he liked that idea.
So there may be an idea in that, right? That being able to track that type of thing might be something that is an in-between stage as regulation starts to roll out.
Yeah. And they did their first mobile body shop work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that Russell, you probably heard this, was about Solar Roof.
Yes. Version 3.
Version 3.
You're hilarious tonight. Solar Roof.
Version 3.
Quick, point to the first two versions.
I'm guessing version 1 is on his house and version 2 is on somebody else's house. Like one of those customers we saw.
Yeah.
And he reiterated that they were going to be doing they were going to do their push for Tesla Energy to get some cells this year.
Yeah, sure.
And
I wish I knew what this drinking game was going to get some people drunk.
I am wasted, okay? And I don't even know what the game is, but I am toast.
I'll tell you after the show.
Another thing they touched upon was Tesla Mining Company.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe I skipped that.
They're starting to find that metals and rare earth requirements for batteries are difficult to apprehend at this point.
Well, they bought a trucking company. What's next? What's wrong with buying a mining company?
Is there something that we have to do, and possibly acquisition of a mining company in order to secure resources of certain caliber or certain quantity?
Yeah, and Tesla Insurance is waiting on a small acquisition as well.
Correct.
Yes.
And then they wrapped up with what was interesting, and they went into
don't even mention it. This is so
And those questions, again, we got the weird "Spy Who Loved Me" submarine question, but there was a number of people that were concerned about the negative, I guess, media coverage that Tesla has received, and talking about how the fudsters out there have been able to sway things just by publishing articles.
That was a recurring theme for the night.
Yeah, that they were able to push Tesla into negative territory, even in a stock or in the perception of people that are just reading stories on the internet, that there's a number of things flawed with Tesla, or there's demand problems, or there's issues with the cars. And it's interesting that group of people that is able to swing things like that has certainly affected Tesla in this quarter and the past 2 quarters. So again, they tried to say, what are you, Elon, doing about trying to combat this?
And the Bloomberg that's on the board is the same Bloomberg family that owns the paper that's smearing him all over the world, right?
Oh, it's a conspiracy.
I'm just saying they somebody pointed out that the
Come
Bloomberg
on.
articles were particularly negative, and I'm just saying that it's the same family that's on the board, right?
I do find it interesting that they can and I don't know who these people are. I don't know if there's a connection to some of them, all of them, a few of them, that they're able to push this narrative out there. And as Tesla says, they try to combat the stories by sending out, updates to the stories to let them know, no, here are the facts. And whether they get that reported or buried in the article or even shown at all, it's extremely tough to battle it. And they end up losing ground is what basically has happened over the past few quarters.
I'm gonna have a difficult time telling the Model 3 from the Model Y at a glance.
No doubt.
I'm staring at it this whole time.
Maybe I should turn that off.
There
Well,
you go.
With the stock cars, it's easy. They they have the matte black where the chrome would be, but that's a very popular aftermarket mod on all Teslas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
I think I might be the drinking game. Every time I talk, they drink.
Ding, 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 ding.
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it.
Which, frankly, drink more.
Uh,
Drink more.
No. They don't drink when you say something nice about Tesla.
And when you say something
Tesla's
that
so.
fits the narrative.
So right now, everyone in the chat room is hammered. There's going to be no one in the What Drives Us show because everyone's just going to be passed out.
Speaking of the What Drives Us show, if you're watching us now, please connect with us in an hour, and we will be on What Drives Us. If you haven't subscribed to that already, please do. And since you're already here, give us that like right now. This is your last chance. Click that like button. Click on the bell. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so.
Please.
We will certainly appreciate it. Let's wrap it up tonight, guys. Good work. Let's first go to Mr. Green, and he may have a video channel to share with us as well.
Yes, youtube.com/CaseyGreen. I put everything about the EV lifestyle. Everything about the EV lifestyle up there, and particularly supercharger reviews. So you know whether or not you want to take the supercharger that the car recommends, or if you want to skip it and go to the next one. And then I have done some videos on non-superchargers, and I haven't published any, so we'll probably see some of them start to make it up there as well.
More to come. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Tony, any parting words for this evening?
Yeah, shout out, of course, to everyone in the chat room. Those of you who are still sober enough to appreciate a shout out. The new show titles, I'll send all of these so we can decide later. Mark will have the final verdict. But so over the air bumper update was one. And then this one for Russell, because parking lots are hard.
Yeah.
That's the best line from you. I'm sorry.
Parking lots are pretty hard. Look at how many people get
God,
struck in a parking lot.
Killing me. Oh, that's beautiful.
And then dig it Tesla from the chat room.
Very good. Very good. Mr. Frost.
Parking lots are hard.
Okay, and then we have a latecomer called that is Drunk Chat Room.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, thank you, everybody in the chat room for hanging out. I got to type a little bit in there, and that's always cool. Thanks to all of you watching. As Mark said, do follow us on social media. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, and please do hit that like button.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can follow us through the week on Twitter at The Tesla Life, also on Facebook, The Tesla Life #1. And with that, we will see you all again next week and find out what's going on in the Tesla life.
Wow.